YouTube, we're back again. Another video, another day. This video is different. I haven't done one of these videos in a long time, but you guys always ask for me to just kind of like get on here and update you guys, and I'm fine in doing so. When you guys request, I do it, so here we are. I've had so many questions about how we're doing, how we're like honestly doing, how our mental health is, how we're feeling, kind of like everything going on in our lives and what we're doing honestly to like take care of ourselves in this time. You guys know our lives are so stressful right now and we just have so much going on. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get right on into the video just because, I mean, mostly everybody I feel like knows what's going on with the boys. If not, you can always go binge watch our playlists of NICU, home life, and pregnancy even to kind of follow up, but we're on day 280 in the NICU. It's hard. It's so hard. There's just so much going through my brain today. Honestly, I have a lot of good days that outweigh the bad days, but when I have a day where I'm kind of struggling, I felt like this was a perfect opportunity to actually get on and talk to you guys because I think a lot of you are really wanting me to be vulnerable with you and be honest, and I can't help people or spread awareness to our story or be there and support other people if I'm just putting on a front and acting like things are okay all the time. So that's kind of like why I'm doing this video, I guess, and because again, so many guys have asked to see it and just care enough to know kind of like what we're doing. So I did want to start by saying that I'm working really hard right now to take care of myself physically. So that's kind of been like my newest goal. I feel like Braxton's doing the same. So I'm trying to do like a little bit more exercise stuff. It is hard with two boys, let's be honest, at home and one an hour away in the hospital, but I've always slacked on taking care of myself physically. Mentally right now, the things that I feel like I'm doing to really take care of myself that I'm like advocating for you guys to do is I'm going to counseling. So I see a counselor once every 2 weeks, which is really helpful to my mental health just because obviously we have so much going on that needs to be like talked about. And it's just nice to be able to like vent and get everything out on the table, I guess. But also I am doing like new exercises. I've been meditating again, so it's really hard for me to find time to do it, but I am working on getting better about doing that. I also have a couple books that I've been trying to read. Good Moms Have Scary Thoughts. I love this. I'm loving this book right now. And Breathe Mama Breathe. It's a 5-minute mindfulness for busy moms. I love these exercises. Like 5 minutes. Everybody can make like 5 minutes of their time, right, to do this stuff. And then there's just a couple other Better Early Than Never and It's Not Supposed to Be This Way. These are like coping books to like cope with just kind of my emotions and understanding that those things are okay to feel. So firstly, that's kind of like what I'm doing mental wise right now, but also wanted to talk to you guys about my physical health. Just to start off with physical health, I wanted to say thank you so much to Ritual for sponsoring this video. I have been taking vitamins twice a day and I've been using Ritual vitamins and I am already in love with this brand. One thing I love about Ritual is that they're very transparent with their products and what is in them. They honestly take like the guesswork out of vitamins and what you're getting. Ritual products are vegan friendly and they are also gluten-free and allergen-free. So I take Ritual's essential vitamins for 18 years and older, but Ritual also offers a men's line, a teen line, a kid line, a prenatal line, a postnatal line. I really love that they contain 9 high quality ingredients from D3 to omega-3. Those are really hard to get into your diet every day, and that's something that I've really been struggling with lately. I think one of my favorite things about the Ritual vitamins is that they have products to basically support the health of my entire family. So that is really nice. When the boys are old enough to take vitamins, our whole family will be on Ritual vitamins, which is kind of cool. They also have a delayed release capsule design, which I think is really cool as well because if I eat it on an empty stomach, it doesn't upset my stomach. And as I said, I've been struggling to have a good diet, so that's hopeful. At least I'm getting vitamins if I'm not getting my correct food. So you can get 20% off of 1 month's choice of vitamins or proteins right now if you go to ritual.com/TFF and use code TFF. You can easily fill in the gaps with your diet with the Women's Essential, and basically that's just going to create a healthy foundation for your body. I think that you guys will really enjoy their vitamins. Go check them out, see what you think. I know that we love them and we're happy to be working with them, so I want to thank you again to Ritual for sponsoring this video. Remember to go to checkout and use my code TFF for 20% off of your first month purchase. So go to ritual.com/TFF. So along with taking vitamins, I've been really trying to watch my water intake, and obviously that's essential too just for pumping because you can't make milk if you're not hydrating your body or taking care of your body. So I've been working on that and trying to eat more than 1 meal a day. That's one thing that we've been really struggling with is Braxton and I feel like we go just to the NICU and then appointments and we're just like all over the place and we don't have time to like sit down and eat or drink, and it's becomes a little bit of a hassle. So we're working to be like better about that, honestly, but you know, what do you do? Today I think I've had like 3 sips of water and I've had coffee and a Monster. So getting into the mental aspect of everything that's going on and how we're doing, let's just be honest, it sucks. Our situation sucks. It's really hard. 280 days in the NICU is something that nobody should ever have to go through or experience, and I honestly wouldn't wish it upon my worst enemy. And I don't like say that lightly, as in like I wouldn't wish it upon my worst enemy. Like I really couldn't have enough like anger or bitterness in my heart to wish this upon anybody. My eye is literally twitching from the stress right now, so if you guys see it, that's what's happening. But it's a lot. We're going through a lot more than a lot of people could even understand. And even if you've had a baby who's been chronically ill or a baby in the hospital that long, it's even more complex when it's multiples. And this exact sets of issues like our multiples have had, you know, with Daxon's rare esophagus issues and everything he's going through medically, and then Croy just being in the small percentage of babies who decide not to take bottles and have to get feeding tubes, and then Ezra having to get a trach. It's a lot, and it's a lot more than I feel like one family should even have to handle, honestly. You guys are right that a lot of the time I am like very positive Patsy, and I try to be that way because I want to be encouraging to other people going through it, but I also feel, like I said, it's important to kind of talk about how awful it is too, and just how it sucks. And there's good days and bad days, and we're not always just like this united front between Braxton and I where we're just like conquering everything in the world and we're just ecstatic and so grateful to be in our situation, because it's just not realistic and it's not the truth. We're struggling. We're struggling for a lot of different reasons, but mostly just because it sucks. I mean, let's be honest, it sucks. Nobody asks for their situation to be like this, and although I'm so grateful that my boys are alive and that we're here and they're fighting every day to, you know, have a normal life and be here with us, it doesn't make it any less stressful. And I think that that's one thing that is really hard for me to like wrap my brain around. People, I feel like, often want to tell us how we should be feeling instead of just accepting the fact that there's no proper way to feel in a situation like this. And if you're a parent of one NICU baby, or even, you know, a baby with medical needs, or a triplet mom, like there's so many variants that play into this, multiples mom, a baby who's in and out of the hospital, or a child who's in and out of the hospital, or somebody who had a really long, lengthy NICU stay and now you're home but you have PTSD from it. There's no right or wrong way that you should be feeling, and I'm really trying to encourage spreading that idea, I guess. At the end of the day, if you haven't been in this situation or you haven't went through it, you have no right to tell somebody how they should be feeling. You know, I have people that will say, oh, well, we should feel blessed that our kids are still here. And then I have people that are like, why aren't you sad? You should be crying on camera. Like, I'm crying for you guys. Why aren't you sad? Like, you look fine. And it's just like, we go through enough without being under a microscope all the time. And it's hard when you choose to like publicly put your life on social media, because people always have something to say. I have people who are like, we don't see your kids enough. Why aren't your kids on camera? And then I have people that are like, why are you intentionally making money off of your sick children? They don't have consent to get, it's just like, there's a lot that plays into this. And first of all, I think that my children will be happy that we're showing their story one day and that we were able to help other people in similar situations. And I think that they would be proud of their parents for being vulnerable and talking about the hard things and having rough conversations. I also think that they'll be proud that I have worked my butt off to get to the point where I'm able to use YouTube as an income and stay home with them and support them and spend time with them and be a mom to them. If I was doing any other job right now, I wouldn't even be seeing my children as much as I do. Like 40 hours a week away from them, I can't imagine. So just think of those things before you pass judgment. I understand like my kids aren't old enough to consent to being on social media, but I don't think that we ever show anything that is too much or give away information that's too much for their sake. We know what stuff we want to keep to ourselves, and we do that, and that's our choice as our family, and we've done that. You guys don't know everything that's happened with the boys. Like, you know a lot of it, but you don't know every single thing that's happened, and not a single person on the internet has a right to tell me or Braxton or our family what we can and can't post or how we should feel about our situation. They're our children. We'll protect them and do anything we can to keep them safe. And I know that a lot of the times those comments are probably just from people who don't know us and have just stumbled upon a random video and think that we're just like, yay, raking in the money off our sick kids. Like, I'm spreading awareness about their different, you know, issues that they've had: chronic lung disease, bronchopulmonary dysplasia, esophageal atresias, tracheostomies, feeding tubes. There's so much that goes into it. People need support. It's a very lonely and isolating feeling. I'm going to keep doing it because people out there have responded and told me how much that, you know, they care about our family and are praying for our boys and how much our journey has helped them in theirs. And that's literally the reason why I do this. Like, contrary to what anybody else might believe, yes, I of course do it as an income, because why wouldn't I, if I'm able to do all of this also while making an income to stay home and take care of my boys? Of course I'm gonna do it. That's the thing that makes the most sense. Like, absolutely, I'm gonna do that. What it comes down to is, like, the reason I started my YouTube channel way before, by the way, I was pregnant or even knew I would have medically complex kids or sick kids, I started my channel to have fun, first off, but second, to reach people and to make an impact and make a difference. And that's what I've done, and that's what I and my boys and Braxton will continue to do, and our family. So I think that's something that's just been kind of dwelling on me lately, and just comments. People like don't realize that you're seeing a small glimpse of what we're choosing to show you, but that doesn't mean that that's our entire lives or what happens. Just because you don't see me breaking down crying on camera once a day, or seeing me and Braxton fighting or having these like really difficult conversations, or seeing us like physically ill over our children or stressed to the point where we're like losing our minds, doesn't mean it's not happening behind the scenes, and it is. So I don't know if like that makes people feel better for me to say like we're struggling and it's a really hard situation to be in and we're stressed out and we're isolated and we don't have a lot of support right now. There's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot for one person. It's a lot for one family. People, like, nobody can fathom what this is like for us. I mean, you just can't. We have a kid an hour away that's critically ill still. I mean, yes, he's doing better, but he's still ventilator dependent. Yes, he'll be able to come home with us, and yes, he'll grow out a bit, but he's still critically ill. I mean, a machine's living for him. My kids can't take nutrition by mouth, you know, none of them. They all have to be fed through medical equipment. You don't think that stresses us out? We have more appointments and therapy visits in a month than I've probably had in my whole life. That's a little dramatic, but probably over the last couple of months, I've definitely seen more doctors in the past couple of months than I probably have my whole life. Like, it's insane. We had, I think, like 25 appointments scheduled in February, and that was at the beginning of February. We've already added more since then. And it's constant. I mean, there's always something happening or something changing or something popping up. Like, Daxon's now about to start seeing OT and PT at our house, which is great that they come here, but it's still 2 appointments a week or whatever it's going to be that we now have to schedule in. Meanwhile, we're trying to drive an hour to see our other kid who's still in the hospital, while trying to find babysitters for medically complex kids when we have barely anybody who really wants to be involved to begin with. So that's hard. We have my mom, my stepdad, my Nana, my best friend Kinsey, Braxton's sister. We have friends that do check in on us and stuff, but they have their own lives. You can't just expect that because somebody's a good friend to you that they're going to up and drop their whole entire lives to come watch your medically complex kids and learn how to do everything. They have jobs and they have children, and they're doing the best that they can trying to navigate how to support us during this time too. A lot of the people that we feel like should have been supporting us through this time, we're not getting help from, and it sucks, but it's just part of it. And I mean, what do? You still have to keep moving on. We still have kids that we have to take care of, and we still have to go through everything regardless of if we have support or not. We don't get to just be like, well, darn it, we don't have any help, so I guess we'll just give up. Like, no, it doesn't work like that. Like, we have 3 children to take care of, and we do it. I mean, what do? That's what we do. It's hard, though, whenever you are pregnant and everybody acts like they're going to be so involved and be around and help out and have a relationship with your kids, and then they just don't put in any effort at all or see your kids or spend time with your kids, and that's really a tough pill to swallow. I mean, it's just hard. And people don't have a lot of grace for us sometimes, I feel like. Like, we are expected to bring our kids places or get a sitter or answer texts and FaceTimes and calls and be at events and, you know, be present. And it's like, people just honestly are so naive to everything going on and like what we're going through, and that's hard. I mean, I wish sometimes that I could like have people live our lives for like 2 days or a week and see how it goes. Because I don't think it would go well. We've had to like gradually adapt to each issue that's thrown our way and add it onto the already overwhelming pile of stuff that we have like built up. So we had triplets nonetheless. Then we had super early triplets, add that onto it. Then we had triplets that were an hour away in the hospital. Then we had triplets that were at 2 different hospitals. Then we had triplets who were dying multiple times. Then we had one come home on a feeding tube. Then we had one that has one of the most rare esophagus things that could happen to you. Then we have to deal with that. Then we have to decide if we're going to take him out of state for care. Then we have to bring this one home, but still go see the other 2, because if you don't go see the other 2 as frequent as people think that you should, then you're neglecting your kids and you don't care about them. And why aren't you at the hospital every day with your kids? Because don't you want to see your kids every day? Aren't you worried they're not getting loved? Like, who's giving your kids love? And it's just like, what do you think that we should be doing? Then we have a kid coming home on oxygen and still having issues from his esophagus that we are now having to seek additional help for and probably having to go out of state for anyways. Fun fact. Then we have a kid go through a tracheostomy and is going to be vent dependent. It's like, it just adds and 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 adds. And you're just like, yay, like this is good. And then now we have this. We're trying to get approved for nursing, but it's been weeks and we're still struggling with our insurance approving them. And then we're dealing with trying to find additional help. But who do you want to trust with your kids? Oh, well, you're just going to trust anybody off the streets? Well, you should have your family do it. That's who should be or why don't you do it? Why don't you take care of your kids? Like, you should be the one. But then if you don't take time to yourself, well, you really should be taking care of your mental health and take care of you. Why are you losing weight? Gosh, people will comment on my videos like, you look really, really rough. Like, you guys are so tired and you're struggling. Yeah, we are. I look like I'm tired. I am. I look like I'm stressed. I am. We've been given way more than most people could handle, and yet people are still just like, well, you should be doing this and you should be doing that. It piles up on top of everything else that's already going on, and it's just too much. It's just such an isolating experience because everybody else's lives are still going on. Everybody else is still in their career or, having their families and getting married or doing this and that, and you're not. Your life's like basically, almost feels like we're like in a different reality than everyone else. It's very strange. It's like your life is happening in this bubble and then the world's going on outside of you, and it just like doesn't make sense to you at the time. Like, you just are confused about how, like, what did I even do before this? Like, what did I do with all my free time, or what was I even stressed about before this? And Braxton and I struggle a lot too with like just kind of like missing the people that we used to be too before kids, which isn't because we don't love our kids. You still have to like mourn the loss of things that you just thought were supposed to be, one kid at a time, and a healthy child at that, and being able to kind of like ease into motherhood and doing it when it was planned and all that. And it's just, you have a right to feel that way. I mean, we have a right to feel that way. We didn't ask for things to work out the way they did. It doesn't mean that we're not grateful for where we're at and where our kids are at, and that it couldn't be worse, because it could definitely be worse. But don't worry, people tend to remind me about that all the time. Could be worse. But, and the whole thing with Ezra, it's like, again, people are so quick to like, oh, you're not even sad that Ezra had surgery, or you don't even look like you care, or how did you just let your kid go to surgery? It's like, him going for his trach surgery was the best thing that's happened to him in months. Months. So you're right, we didn't sit on the camera and cry, oh my gosh, we're so sad he's going to surgery. I wasn't. I was so excited for him. I knew that he was in the best care. I knew that this was going to be a turning point for him, and it has been. Just because you don't see us sitting crying about Ezra or where he's at, or the fact that we have to leave him at the hospital every day, doesn't mean that we're not doing it when you guys aren't looking. So I've been living without my kids home for 9 months of their lives now. Ezra's spent 9 months in the hospital. Daxton spent 8 months in the hospital. And people really have the audacity to come on here and be like, oh, you just don't care, you're just going to leave your kids there, you don't go see them every day. It takes us like an hour just to even try and get all the stuff put together. And then trying to like function with 2 kids who are medically complex out in public, or go into the hospital where, keep in mind, we're in a sick part of the hospital. Like, we're in the neonatal intensive care unit. There's little tiny babies. The last thing we need is my kids going in there screaming, freaking out. Daxton coughs and throws up all the time. Like, that's a great idea. Why don't we just do that? It's just so much stuff that people don't know and they don't see and they just assume about. And I guess I'm glad I'm able to get on here and tell you guys like what it really is and how we are and how we're feeling. And it sucks. we're not doing great. We're not just happy-go-lucky family, but we can't give up, and we have to keep pushing forward, and we have to try and find positives in any way that we can, and that means sometimes searching for things that really probably shouldn't be positives. For instance, stuff that we haven't even told you about Daxon's health going on yet. We can't hear him cry right now, and instead of just being so stressed out and upset about it, I'm like, well, at least he doesn't wake Corey up at night when he's sleeping and he cries. We can hear him because his sats drop or because his camera in his crib will alert me of the noise, but Corey sleeps through it because he can't hear him good. Or like my favorite one that we reflect on a lot is like, well, at least we got to bring the boys home one at a time and like kind of ease into having 3 babies at home, nonetheless 3 medically complex babies, which is great, but of course we still would have chose to not spend over a year at the time Ezra comes home in the hospital. Like, of course we wouldn't, but what do you do? I mean, I look at the positives and people want me to remember all the negatives. We focus on the negatives and everybody wants us to remember that we're lucky and that our kids are here. So just be gentle with people, especially like NICU parents or parents of medically complex kids. Like, it is so isolating and it's just hard. You're by yourself. I mean, the biggest things is like our schedule is just so crazy. We have no time to ourselves basically, which of course is going to put strain on Braxton and I's relationship, plus the fact that we are overly stressed and you're always going to take that out on the closest person to you. Let's be honest. We're together basically 24/7 right now, which is not healthy for 99% of relationships. And how do we be a united front and positive and, you know, have a good, strong, steady relationship when we're just being stretched so thin all the time? I don't remember the last time like we've really even done anything for ourselves. I think it was like the beginning of December when we went to Kansas City for a night for Braxton's birthday. We went to the water park like we were like 10-year-old kids and went and got massages and like dinner and coffee and breakfast, and it was so much fun. But it's like, again, we have children we have to take care of, and we can't just go and do that all the time, especially because now we have 2 babies home and we have nobody barely who knows how to work their stuff. Then there's of course just like you're constantly comparing your kids to other kids and how they're not at other kids' levels, and that's probably one of the most difficult things about having a preemie baby. I'm constantly reminding myself that yeah, they're 9 months old, but developmentally they're not 9 months old, they're 6 months old, so they should be doing things that 6-month-olds are doing. But even then, Daxon was in the hospital for all of that time, so of course he's not going to be doing the same things that a 6-month-old is doing. That's a single baby at home, born full term, had all of the developmental things happening in the womb that were supposed to happen. And even though you can constantly remind yourself of that, you still are like, oh well, this baby did this at this age and this baby did this and my kid can't even do this or this. And then it's the guilt of, oh well, we're not working with them enough, we don't have time to sit and do PT and OT for 3 hours a day with the boys. Like, we don't have that time. Where in this are we supposed to make money and work and have an income, and but not by YouTube, because you guys don't want me to do that. Some of you, not all of you, but I'm so thankful that we've gotten to meet some amazing nurses that are going to be like lifelong friends now and basically family to us. And I'm thankful that my kids are alive, and they may end up having lifelong things that pop up, but as of right now we have things that they were blessed to be able to fix and that are fixable problems and things that we can work through. So that's, you know, a blessing. I'm thankful that we have a roof over our heads and money to be able to take care of them properly. I'm thankful that we have good insurance that is paid for all of their stuff and that we don't have their medical bills to pay for. I'm thankful we have transportation for them and food. They have everything that they could need and more. I'm thankful that Braxton and I have the jobs that we do, that we are able to make our own schedules and work when we want, because if we didn't have these jobs, we would be in really big trouble. I don't know like how people do it that have full-time 40 per hour week jobs, because we would be screwed right now. So I'm thankful that we have the jobs that we do. I'm thankful for the support or small support team that we do have. Those people are amazing and I'm thankful for them. I'm thankful for getting to bond with each of the boys at separate times and like in our own ways. You know, Ezra's still at the hospital, so when we go there, like that's our focus and we get to just, you know, mostly focus on him and be with him. And now that Corey's pretty adjusted to being home, like whoever can watch him, and then we can bond with Daxon and like really get to know him and his personality. So I'm thankful for that. Mostly I'm thankful I'm able to reach people and support other people and hopefully help others in our journey or in our, you know, similar shoes. And I'm gonna keep kind of just spreading awareness to what this looks like and how lives are just impacted. It's just crazy, but we'll get through it. That's all we can do. together. So those of you who have been here from the beginning, or even that have just now joined in and you're just like here and supportive of us, we love you so much. We can't say thank you enough for how much we appreciate you. The good definitely outweigh the bad, and as far as response to our journey and who we're reaching, and we appreciate you guys so much. I love you all. I hope that you guys although a little grim, enjoyed this video, and I hope that it was what you were wanting to see since you asked. And we love you. We appreciate you. Thank you guys for listening to my rant, and be kind, go out and be gentle to people, be supportive of people. You don't know what people are going through behind closed doors, so try to spread some positivity and some kindness. I love you guys, and I will see you in the next video.